How do you decide which judges are going to be eliminated?
That's what I'm asking for input from the circuit and how we would go about deciding that. We may have some judges that are.
Isn't in the bill.
Pardon?
The mechanism isn't in the bill.
The mechanism at this point is not in the bill, because and those who work with me well know that I really work hard to get all the data that I can, to get all the stakeholders at the table to find out what the best way of doing it. Because you may have some circuits where we have judges that are ready to retire, and that may be that may be the best direction to take on that. So I want to give them the opportunity to help be a part of this process.
How does this affect the staff of those judges?
It will affect secretary. It will affect an assistant DA, assistant PA, and their operating costs.
I mean, in what regard will it? I mean, for example, does your budget include the reduction in the staff
Yes.
figures as well?
Yes, the figures we've got would include all those that go along with. When we establish a judgeship, they get assessed. I misspoke. I said P. I meant a PD, public defender. So they get all those other areas, and so when we remove the judgeship, those will go away also.
So do you expect then delays in trials? The whole idea of your right to a speedy trial?
When I look at this, I'm as a businessman and as an accountant. When I look at this, and I see that there are circuits out there who are handling 3,878 cases filed per judge, and there's others at 1,269. To me, that's a significant difference in workload that tells me that it still can get done. We go through an evaluation of adding judgeships. The Coweta Circuit is in my backyard. We just added a judge a couple years ago, but if you look at that, it is the third busiest circuit. And I'm not getting a lot of complaints from my constituents that they don't feel like that they are not getting speedy treatment from the court systems in the Coweta Circuit at that kind of level. So I believe that there's some efficiencies that can be gained in some of these circuits that do not have the same caseload.
How do you reconcile the situation where you're reducing the judgeships moving forward, and the economy is such that the crime and those issues would increase? So you're not building anything to account for an increase in criminal activity.
There's no way I can predict the future and what that would have on that on any one of these circuits. What I do have a responsibility is that before we get out of here, we are constitutionally bound to pass a balanced budget for the state of Georgia, and we've got to find a way to get there. And so at this point, this is a proposal I'm making that will help us to accomplish what it is we have to accomplish constitutionally in the next 2 months.
Senator,
Yes, sir.
Some of the business groups have complained because about the caseload now, because a civil case is going to come in line behind a criminal case or a domestic violence case. And so they're saying, we're looking for relief. I mean, they're already lobbying for more judgeships. So could this have an adverse economic impact?
I don't know any specific case you're talking about, but I would venture a guess that where you're hearing some of your concerns are from some of your circuits that do have a heavier caseload and not the ones in the lighter caseload. Because if they're coming from the circuits that have these lighter caseloads, I would really wonder about their processes, because from a state of efficiency, when you look at a circuit that's doing a third amount of work of others, and if they can't get it done as speedy as some as the others, I think there's other issues that would be at play in there.
Was it as simple when you were making this decision as looking at how many judges there were, the total dockets, figuring out the average, comparing that to the rest of the state, or did you actually break it down by cases? For example, in the Rome Circuit, there's 2,711 cases. Did you find out what kind of cases those were? So it was just looking at the numbers.
That's my expertise, is looking at the numbers, and numbers can tell you a lot of things. And when I evaluate this information, it tells me that there are some, I believe, tells me that there are some opportunities to gain in efficiencies, and so that's why I'm making the proposal. And as I said, it's not that I'm walking here saying that I've got all the answers. What I'm saying is this is a proposal, and I'm inviting those affected to be a part of the process.
And the Judiciary branch has been very vigilant about maintaining constitutional separation of powers. You don't anticipate any constitutional issues?
Again, the Constitution, I should have brought to you and I could show it to you, but in the Constitution it's very clear that we have the power to remove judgeships. So that's the ability that we have. We cannot do many other things, and in trying to work with them, as I read the numbers, the Superior Court in the budget has not been as forthcoming as many of the other court systems have in being able to help with our budget crisis.
Well, I saw the
time for one more question.
I saw the number, you tracked the number of judgeships kind of over the past decade, but as far as the caseload, how far back did you go in tracking how the caseload has varied?
I didn't look at that. I looked at the current caseload, what we got right now, the information we had for last year.
Oh, just wondering, I mean, in terms of whether that has been going up, for these jurisdictions in recent years, and maybe if that's a trend that's going to continue, how that might affect what you guys decide to do.
That would be something we could look at.
Have you kind of coordinated with,
He's a constituent.
that's right, the judiciary folks in your own body? I mean, you're not a lawyer. Have you talked to the lawyers there and the Senate to kind of see, just kind of jive with their thinking?
I have had discussions with some of my attorney friends, and I've gotten a lot of caution in trying to do something like this, and that's why when I drop the bill, there'll just be one name on the bill, because I'm the one that felt like there's an opportunity to gain some efficiencies here, and I'm making the proposal. And now that I've made the proposal, I'll ask for their input, just like I will the Superior Court
You said
judge's
caution.
decision.
What kind of caution did you receive?
Pardon?
What kind of caution did you receive? You said you received
That
caution.
this will be difficult, and
Did they say
in the
caution?
budget, whenever you're talking about the elimination of a job, it's difficult, and we are faced with difficult decisions. And in no way am I not well aware of the consequences and the impact that it will have, just like everything else we're doing in the budget. And I treat it very, very, very seriously, and that's why I want their input about how we go about doing this, so that they can help. Like I said, if there's a retirement, then that doesn't, that helps to soften the blow. And so, and y'all know, like I do, when you start talking about the elimination of job, and we're facing it with many other areas, and we've already done it in many other areas in the state budget. It's not easy, and so, but I think that we have a constitutional responsibility, and we have to stand to the plate, and we have to make difficult decisions. But I want to make sure that we make the right decisions.